Michael's last ride in that car. He is now going over to the Newman Haas stable. And watch from Gordon's car.
Side by side with Junior. Oh, he hit. That's it right there. Touch front wheels. You saw Al Junior steering, suddenly turn left. Then he's on the dirt out of control. And the second accident would actually happen independently of Al Junior.
But the question I have, Derek, is who tried to push who?
Oh, that's a case of two cars trying to go into one small space. Look at Mansell, ducks in behind as Al Jr. mows down one of the marker signs on the outside. Now look at Michael. Here's Michael. Loses it under acceleration, and there's Emerson jumps on the brakes to try and miss him. An independent accident separate from what we saw happen to Al Jr. and Rahal. Now watch here. Here's a look from Michael.
Down through the first turn, now heading for the second. This is a hairpin.
Now listen to the engine note. This is turn one. Traffic jam. Oh, locks up that rear brake. Now watch for Rahal coming. Stay here. There it is. Rahal's unsighted. Smashes into the front of Michael's car. Nothing he could do, but we clearly saw the brake balance that was not correct on Michael's car, locked the rears. That caused his problem.
And doing some serious work on Al Unser Jr.'s car as well. As a result of that spin, apparently something got into the right front suspension and front wings. Gary Gerald?
That's indeed the case. They thought it was just going to be a change of the nose. Fittipaldi was in first. They changed his nose in second and nose wings. He got out. Junior came in, but there's extensive suspension damage. They're changing wishbones on the upper right side. They already have got the old nose off. They've made one change on top. This is an amazing work by this crew. They may be back out very shortly, Paul. Yes, they're ready to fire the engine. Here comes the nose. The engine roars to life. They wanted him to roll. Now, without a nose, now they'll put it on. But he should be able to safely catch back up with the field without losing a lap. No, he lost the engine. Now they'll try to bump start it. Now the starter comes back. They have to back the car up. They're desperate to hurry. They've got to beat the safety car and the rest of the field or lose the lap. Engine roars to life. And the champion of 94 is back underway, and he has not lost the lap.
So the Penske stable with some serious problems as a result of this accident on the very first lap. The view from Bobby Rahal's car.
Well, back in the grid. Now look at the traffic jam here through turn one. Keeps his nose clean. That's Junior. Michael's sideways. He's now backwards. There he is right there. Unsighted. Can't change the line. End of the day, two heavily damaged racing cars.
And of course, with this accident, one of the things resolved that we were concerned about, Paul Tracy is now assured of third in the points with Michael scored as a DNF.
Outside move. This man is brave. He loves to pull this off. Watch this. Oh, I didn't see Gordon turn in, but Al Jr. moves outside under acceleration. Comes off the worst. That is a racing accident.
Now here is as they come down the hill once again. Watch Al Unser Jr. back in the battle. They've already gotten together at that point.
And let it run, and you'll see how Al Jr. gets the damage on his front wing. There he is off the racetrack. There he plows down the marker post. That's a braking marker sign. And he tries to keep it straight, but the damage is already well done.
But the second accident is totally unrelated to this as a result of the braking problem with Michael, and then Rahal comes around and slams almost head-on into him, but he only caught a glimpse of him at the very last second. So we're under a full course yellow, only 2 laps complete, and Paul Tracy leads it. Still under a full course yellow. In the pits is Robbie Gordon as they work on his car now, Gary.
This is an exercise almost duplicating what we saw from the Al Unser crew. This time it's the Walker crew working for Robbie Gordon, and it's on the left front side. Damage to the suspension. They're replacing one of the wishbones in there. They are working feverishly. As you can see, 4 or 5 men right there pouring all over it. They're trying to get him back out without the loss of a lap. But this one seems to be, they may be struggling. Now they've got the damaged one out of place. Fresh one going in. It'll be a matter of seating it, getting it bolted down, and trying to get the wheel back on in time to prevent losing a lap. So we watch this crew. We go back to the booth and Paul.
And this is important overall in the points fight now, because with Michael out, Robbie Gordon can take a 4th in the points with a win or a 2nd place in the race. So that doesn't seem likely. It still is possible.
And good indication you see here that these racing cars are not meant to hit anything. They are designed to be fast, but never to touch anything. So light contact, or relatively light contact by Gordon and Al Jr. breaks both front suspensions.
So stories considered right at the top of the program here. Al Unser Jr., looking for that final win of the season that will give him solidly a record, is in trouble, not being scored at the top of the order at all. The other story, Raul Boesel is through and clean and in sixth position now as we continue under a full course yellow. You're on board with Scott Sharp's car now. Scott's sitting back in the field in 13th position. And he is the teammate this year to Dominic Dobson, but the indication is he will be teaming next year with
Danny Sullivan. That is the word. It's not confirmed yet, but they have been in extensive negotiations. And Dominic Dobson, currently his teammate, is going to another position within this team in a management role. Possibly, he said, maybe in an engineering assistance role, maybe like Rick Mears at Penske.
So the field continues to circle this track at Laguna Seca under a full course yellow. Earlier in the year, Al Unser III wrote a letter about Mario Andretti and his summer at Mario's Lake. We asked him to reproduce that for us.
What I did for my summer vacation by Al Unser. I was really excited when my dad told me we were going to Mario's lake house for a week. I have been Mario's #1 fan for a long time, and believe me, when you're an Unser, it's not an easy job being Mario's fan. But I've always thought Mario was really neat. Well, back to the lake. Everything was really neat, and Mario took me on his boat. And when it blew up, I knew we were having fun because my dad was laughing so hard. Because my dad was laughing so hard. Late that night, after my dad's Sea-Doo had been going faster than Mario's all day, I saw lights down at the lake. My dad was sleeping, so I went down there and Mario was taking some stuff off of my dad's machine. When I asked him why, he said he was just making it faster for Dad. That was really neat, because I figured now Mario was having fun too. The next day, things were going great until I had a little accident with Mario's golf cart. I ran into my dad's truck when the golf cart got loose on me. Mario didn't seem to like me for quite a while after that, but as soon as I told him my dad would pay for it, he smiled. When we got home and Dad got the bill, Dad didn't pay it because I told him Mario's big martini had bit me. I don't want Mario to get in any trouble now that I know he's so old like my grandpa. I don't think the stress will be good for him. Besides that, I had so much fun at the lake, I wanted him to invite me back. Anyway, that was my trip to the lake. Although, I don't know if I got to see everything because my grandpa told me the Andrettis have always had a winery. But I never saw any winery. I figured I could get some racing tips from him since I'm running go-karts. I asked Dad and Grandpa what to get out of them, and they said Mario could teach me to say, I have 45 inches of boost with a straight face. Arrivederci, Mario.
The next generation of Unsers. The question is he going to be a television star or is he going to be a race driver? Let's go to the pits once again. Here's Gary Gerald.
Well, a couple of more updates. Early in the confrontation that triggered all kinds of mayhem in the pack, Mario Andretti was also a victim. He encountered a puncture. He shredded a rear tire, had to come in. They changed the rear tire. He's back out. And Robbie Gordon's crew, fighting valiantly to make that suspension change, didn't get it done in time to save the lap. He has lost the lap to the field. Paul?
Well, we've been keeping track over the past week, as all the fans out here have, is the progress in the hospital of Paige Jones. You visited him in the hospital last week after his accident.
And my wake-up call this morning was from Judy, his mother, and the news is good. Paige has been upgraded to serious from critical. He is now off the respirator. He is out of intensive care. But there are some very, very nice stories that have come out of Paige's incident.
Yeah, his life was actually saved by Derek Brunson, the EMT that got to him first, recognized he wasn't breathing, and he saved Paige's life. And the fans at Portsmouth Speedway in Ohio had a collection on behalf of Paige that was then donated on to Derek's furthering education.
Lots of people here asking about Paige. Ari Lyondike has Get Well Paige on the windshield of his car this afternoon.
Well, we're finally ready to go back to green flag racing as the green flag comes out at the start of the 6th lap. Paul Tracy leads the field, got a good jump on Jacques Villeneuve as they come down the hill. In 3rd place, it's Nigel Mansell, followed by Johansson, Teo Fabi, and Raoul Boisel.
Mansell escaped the mayhem, obviously ran well, was 4th fastest in the morning warm-up. But the Lola needs to look after those rear tires, it seems, more than the Reynard or certainly the Penske.
What would be your speculation that this caution period did to that concern with the tires?
Oh, it actually lets you off the hook. It allows you to cool them down and get longer into your fuel stint. Remember, they burn off fuel even though they're running slowly under yellow. Look at the run here to the corkscrew. All the way up to the top. 2 and 3 and 4 floors, all the way to the top. 8 floors high before he turns here. Look at the plunge. Down he goes, 2nd, 3rd, 4th gear, and it gets faster from here. Look at this. Chases, plays with the power, catches him there, weaves at the back of the car. Boy, the inexperience chased by the former world champion Mansell.
Mansell closing on 2nd place, Jacques Villeneuve. Jan Beekes, part of the concern, though, was about the tires, that if they went slow, they would pick up some buildup from the track. Does that appear to have happened?
Well, when Derek said they were let off the hook, that's true. But the one thing they're very, very concerned about down here, just like you said, Paul, is the pickup on the tires. The real good thing was that the tires didn't get ultra hot before we had that caution period. Watch for these cars on the next 1, 2, 3 laps to be real squirrely until they get that old rubber scrubbed off.
High technology of the pits now as they keep track of these cars' performance by telemetry. We've already indicated Michael Andretti, Bobby Rahal out of the race. Both are apparently okay, and Michael is with Gary Gerould.
Indeed, Michael is okay. And Michael, tell us now from what you experienced out there, do you have any clue as to what happened when it all broke loose?
Somebody hit me in the right rear, and it put me into a spin, and then I got nailed by Bobby. Bobby had nowhere to go, and you know, it was just one of those things.
And I know that you're concerned about final championship points. It's a disappointment here, but then one of the guys that you're battling with, Robbie Gordon, has also had his woes, and he's down a lap.
Yeah, that helps me a lot, for sure, because it was going to be pretty unlikely, highly unlikely for me to catch Tracy, but I was worried about Robbie, but now it's going to be a little tough for him.
We're just happy you're all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul?
Sometimes things happen so fast that's a bit confusing, but I think Michael will be surprised to see that right rear lock under braking, and that's actually what started his spin, not contact with somebody behind him.
Focusing on the battle for 2nd place. Jack trying to hold off Nigel Mansell. Mansell very definitely in pursuit here. We'll keep track of this for you. We'd like to go back and look at the start, because they seem broken for the moment. We'll go back and take a look, broken off for the moment, at the start from Nigel Mansell's view.
Now Gordon has already passed Mansell round the outside. There he is trying to get by Unser. There's the contact. Ponsal Jr. off to the inside. And Gordon, of course, we know is slow at this stage too, because he also sustained damage to that left front suspension of the Valvoline car.
And this one incident had such an effect on championship points, taking Michael totally out of the top of that order of the battle, and at the same time adversely affecting Al Unser Jr.'s chance to score a record number of wins by a single driver